Welcome back to LA Divided, NBA United. I am here with my guy, Ronnie J. Like I was going to call you RL, RQ, QR code. I was going to call you everything in the book. But welcome back to LA Divided, NBA United. This is our LA Times section where we talk about all of the LA teams, obviously, that hold fond memories in our heart. Some of them, obviously piss us the hell off as well. As you guys know some of the teams that we've covered in the past. But this particular team that I'm talking about, man, it is special. It's I like to think I'm a Laker fan since birth. My family never really took any pictures of me, which is leading me to believe I must have been an ugly baby. But I know that can't be the case. But I'd like to say I came out of the womb a Laker fan, but I know for a fact when I first saw this team play that this is when I fell in love with the Lakers. And it's none other than the 87-88 Los Angeles Lakers, to be exact. I mean, listen, the Lakers in the 80s, you can cover any one of these teams, but this particular team, not only greatest Laker team ever, but greatest team ever. If certain, people want to, put that argument out there. 96 Bulls, of course, come to mind. 2017-18 Warriors come to mind for people. But there was nothing quite like this 88 team. Obviously, the team went 62-20 after coming off of a 67-win season the year before, and then put up a 64-win season the next year. They were thrashing teams. They were running teams out of the building. They was running honeys out of the Forum Club. They was really, really doing everything. This is just embodies the Showtime Lakers. And like I said, it was that pass from Magic, between the legs to Kurt Rambis, that just popped off my TV screen. Back then, you had to hit the TV in order to get a clear picture. And it seemed like, as soon as I hit the TV, Magic hit that pass, and I was in love at that point. Just notable players up and down the roster. You're talking about Kareem, Byron Scott, James Worthy, AC Green. He was probably holding on to his, his bandages back then. Michael Thompson, the father of Klay Thompson, the number one pick from the Timberwolves. Of course, this was one of his final years, with the Lakers, and then he came back to join the radio commentating team. So a lot of Lakers lore here. Just a veteran team, man, that knew how to win, knew how to perform, and we got prime Magic at this point. Obviously, Michael Jordan, believe it or not, won the MVP the 88 season. And this is when I think people kind of knew that that Michael was going to be taking on that next mantle. This happened to be the last Magic Johnson title. It was the fifth and last title in the 80s. And it was Magic's last title. He even though he went to the finals in the 90s, he went to the finals in 91. He didn't win it, but this was literally Magic was the premier player in the league, and there was no doubt in my mind that if Magic doesn't get hurt the following season, we're looking at a three-peat team here with the Lakers. But obviously you was a little baby, I'm sure, what I'm saying, because I was about 7, 8 years old, maybe 6, 7. We talking 88. Once again, we just keep dating ourselves, every single episode. But hey, fuck it.
Right.
Older the berry, the sweeter the juice. Just if you can think back this far, or even about any of the 80s Lakers teams, like what was, kind of your perception? Obviously, you didn't become a Bulls fan, I'm assuming, until the mid 90s.
So, okay. So to be honest to you, I'm about to prove why I'd like that I'm a rebel, because when I look at this roster, it was no reason for me not to like the Lakers. Is absolutely no reason for me not to have liked the Lakers. After '88, I was 6 years old. This was pretty much my introduction to basketball. In hindsight, looking back on it, looking back on it now, just looking at that team, I liked every single like player on that team. As far as all of the household names, Magic, Big Game James, Kareem, even Kurt Rambis, I believe, was he a part of that squad as well?
That's why.
AC Green was one of my favorite players at the time. It was just one of those things where I was just a rebel. It was I essentially went with the Chicago Bulls because I knew that at the time my dad was a Lakers fan, so I just rooted against him, and that's what made me become a Clipper or I'm sorry, a Chicago Bulls fan. Yeah, man, I had no, the whole family was the Lakers. I had no reason not to like them. And then when I look back on that squad and you see old clips and just how they were playing Showtime Lakers. I mean, they were the team. They were the team. There's a reason why every parts of the world there's someone that's a Laker fan, and it probably started back then, even though they weren't on TV back then. Like it's all about footage, and it's just about the franchises in general. There's no reason that I'm not a Laker fan. So um I am a Laker fan, kind of, so to a certain degree. I mean, I didn't have any choice. They were the ones who were winning. So it was quite easy for me to always watch the team. Like I said, just growing up liking basketball, I was always going to watch it, and Lakers were the home team. So it was, I watched a lot of out of the Lakers. But just like I say, looking back at this team and for you to pick them, I mean, I 100% understand why. I 100% understand why this is what made you fall in love with basketball, was this team, and I can't disagree.
Yeah, man. I mean, you want to talk about a team that had everything. Believe it or not, Byron Scott led this team in
Hmm.
points per game, and that just goes to show you the kind of player that Magic is. Because
Yeah.
Magic was a pass first guy. Obviously, people know, by now, that Magic was paving a way for the big 6'9" point guard. It had really never been seen before, having a guy like a power forward size. Now, that's standard. You know what I'm saying? Like LeBron James, Luka Doncic, all of these guys are big, heavy guys that are point guards, that can facilitate and handle with the best of them.
Hmm.
And so they were taken out of the mold that this guy created. And of course, the Penny Hardaways, even before them. And
Hmm.
so, it was just really a special thing to see this dude on the break just moving as fast as he was, and, able to have that kind of court vision. He would turn and look away. The crowd would go wild. This is also what set that stage for basketball being entertainment.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of games that you would watch prior to that, in the 90s, in the mid 90s, the Bulls kind of adopted this same principle when they started to show the warm ups with the song and everything.
Hmm.
Just it really captures not only a city, but it captures a moment in time and era. In the Showtime era, of course, we mentioned we were really young, so we probably didn't know what we were watching back then.
Right.
But
Right.
to go back in retrospect and really see how far the game has come, and the showmanship and all of the things that still exist in our game, it wouldn't be there, if it wasn't for Magic. And I even got to put them pesky Celtics,
Yeah.
credit too, because they pushed the Lakers. It was Magic or Bird, and
Hmm.
no doubt in my mind that the Lakers kind of solidified themselves as the team of the '80s. They won 5 out of the 10 championships that were available in that era, and just Magic was a dominant player, a dominant force, a dominant personality, and of course his smile. Um,
Yeah.
was just infectious. So all of these different things, man, yeah, it packages up to be a hell of a fan if you like good basketball.
Yeah, 100% agreed. I mean, like I say, I didn't have any reason not to like the team. They were definitely fun to watch, and learning. When that, like I said, this was our introduction to basketball at the time when we learned in the game. Who else better to learn from Magic Johnson? Fundamentally, he running up and down the court. He made it fun to watch. His passes. Showtime had the oohs and the ahs. That's just overall a good team, man. I just that's this is a good pick for you. I like that. Looking back, I can see why. Especially just myself. You and all of our close friends that are all Lakers fans can probably resonate to this year, and it's no wonder why everybody chose to be Laker fans, because I mean, obviously the Clippers weren't it at all during that time. So
Well,
yes,
listen, I just like to reach back because at the end of the day, these new, Laker fans that came when that guy came, which, like I said, he's a great player, but he ain't the Magic Man.
yeah,
It's just not that for the city.
right,
And listen, very few people are. It took Kobe a lot of winning and a lot, like Kobe pushed himself to the max in order
yeah,
to
yeah,
be
yeah,
what seemed to have come effortless for Magic.
hmm
What
yeah,
he was doing, he had the weight of an entire league on his shoulders. They took, you mentioned it. They weren't playing the games on network television. These games were
right,
not accessible. They were on tape delay at 1 a.m.
hmm
in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
And he not single-handedly, but him and Bird, they together lifted a whole league, into prominence in terms of being a very popular sport. And of course, we know, what Michael Jordan did after that, what he took it to
right,
a different level. And
global.
yeah, it's an amazing thing to look back at, and I'm just glad I was alive to see these teams play.
Yeah, and not to keep sounding like a broken record, when you look back, because like obviously we have film on everything, and they got this HBO documentary coming out, which I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna wait to see it. I want to see the Lakers actually do something themselves. Kind of like like how the Last Dance documentary, because I'm sure they got the film. I'm sure they got the film, and it'll be fun to look back and see it. And when we look at old footage like the Larry Bird and the Magic, they were part of that Converse commercial. And then we see all the old clips of the games and what Showtime was, and what the Lakers did for LA, essentially just the whole West Coast, so to speak. They were a destination. The Lakers just weren't a team to watch. They were a destination, because it was like Showtime Lakers, Showtime at the club afterwards. So it was a revolution, I guess we can say that.
Hey, listen, Magic he was sharing the sugar on the court, and then afterwards, nobody couldn't get any sugar when he made it to the Forum Club. Apparently,
Right.
he was a hound dog. But no, you mentioned the show, and obviously I was excited about the show. But then, I
Mhm.
kind of did some research, and it seemed like you said, the Lakers are actually in the process of doing something. I believe Jeannie Buss is putting together a documentary to really kind of show those times. And Dr.
Mhm.
Buss, they got to do it for Dr. Buss, man. Dr. Buss was one of
Right.
the greatest team sports owners. You can put him up there with Steinbrenner,
Yeah.
and of course, the stanking ass Cowboys and Jerry Jones, in terms of how they have branded these teams. Remember that
Right.
Laker starter jacket, that bright yellow
Hmm.
one back from back in the day. Yeah, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying. You might get shot running, walking in the wrong neighborhood with it on. Niggas was
Right.
even rocking it even with the blood in it. You know what I'm saying. They shoot you in it.
Listen.
They put it on right after they shot you in it. Um,
Right.
you had to be extra careful where you rock that starter jacket, but that shit was fire.
Yep. Yep. But no, yeah, just what you touched on. I'd rather see the true documentary of the Lakers and the actual people that lived in, and not a reenactment. I don't want to see any phoniness.
All right. Well, listen, this has been LA Divided, NBA United, highlighting the 88 Lakers. But we are out. Thank you.
Peace.
Are you excited about this new HBO show, about the Showtime era?
No, we got different shows coming out.
Really? You have your own show in the works?
Well, I got one, and then you got GD Bus got one on Showtime coming out. So those are the ones looking forward to, okay?
Oh, so the HBO one didn't get your blessing then?
Well, like I said, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Are you gonna watch?
No.
No. That's cool. That's the competitor in you. I like that. I like that.